The rapid rise of AI data centers playing a role in the midterms. A recent Fox News poll finding 70% of voters oppose building data centers in their area. Now many politicians are changing their tune on the construction of these data centers in their home states. Notably, Texas Governor Greg Abbott, who is up for re-election, has changed course from supporting data centers, once calling Texas the epicenter of AI development, to imposing a moratorium on their construction. I want to bring in Texas Congresswoman Beth Van Duyne. And Congresswoman, we understand the need to be competitive when it comes to AI. Voters now are telling us they're clearly opposed, but one of the points that Governor Abbott made was, look, I want to make sure that these companies are not going to suck the water out of these communities, suck the electricity off the grid in these communities. And as you well remember, you had 200 people that died when the grid failed several years ago. Nobody wants to see that, repeated. Your thoughts on all of this?
Well, I think we need to recognize that data centers have actually been around for decades. I literally have a massive one right across the street from my neighborhood. They've been around. They are a critical national security asset to prevent the future of AI being communist or Chinese takeover. We have to have them. That being said, I think that the president and I think Governor Abbott are doing the right thing to demand that these massive hyperscale centers bring their own power to the table, that they are not affecting local water supplies, and that they're positively contributing to local tax base. I think, in Texas, what the governor is saying is we're just going to take a beat. There are good actors and there are bad actors. And we want to make sure that the ones that are operating in Texas, since we have such a massive number of applications, are the good actors. I think the developers could also do themselves a huge favor if instead of kind of springing this on citizens, if they are being very transparent, if they're having meetings in their community, if they're talking to residents, working with the city council and working with mayors to make sure that everything is above board and that people know exactly what they're getting. The benefits of these centers, the fact that they are bringing, literally millions and millions and millions of dollars of taxes, but also listen to the concerns of the residents. And look, after having been a mayor and a city council member, I got 12 years of experience dealing with zoning cases and listening to people come down and watching how they can collaborate, watching how these developers and the citizens can collaborate to actually have great development.
Well,
that is what needs to happen.
I agree with the messaging coming from the companies, but now you've got like Amazon, OpenAI. They're actually going out and doing these listening sessions in these communities because they're seeing the pushback as well. They understand that. But the other thing I want to ask you about is I had Congresswoman Beth Kammack from Florida on here last week. And Congresswoman Kammack told me that it's China in Florida. Kat Kammack, excuse me, that it was back in when she was talking about Florida. She said, look, she's like, it's a disinformation campaign coming from China. Do you agree with her assessment on that?
We do have intel information that does show that there is definitely a financially backed things coming out of China that are meant to spur negativity against these data centers. I mean, Kat is actually, correct about that. But the fact is that developers could help this if they were coming into the communities, working with the council and being a lot more transparent.
Yeah, well, if the Congresswoman's watching, I'm apologizing for not getting her first name right. Let's talk about Yall Street. We've covered it extensively here on Fox Business. Morgan Stanley now expanding into Dallas. The financial giant going to relocate nearly 4,800 jobs to the Lone Star State by 2031. Morgan Stanley CEO Ted Pick started exploring these options outside of New York once socialist Mayor Zohran Mamdani was elected Congresswoman. I want to get your thoughts on what you're seeing in this huge influx of not just business, but jobs into the state of Texas.
Look, in Texas, we value freedom, we celebrate success, and we appreciate the job creators that are making more jobs, are strengthening the economy, that are increasing the Texas miracle, in our future. And this is a far cry from the communist states, the communist cities that they are fleeing from, that basically want to take all modes of production and put it into the government's hands, take it out of the private hands, and tax them out of existence. So yeah, come down. We're welcome at Yall Street. We've got more financial employees here now, double the number of JP Morgan employees in Texas than you got in New York. I think that surprises a lot of people, but there is a reason why. We are light on regulations, we are light on our taxes, and we appreciate the business community and all that they bring to the state.